Hey, the Celestine crew, Carl Spreedy's here. Thanks for joining me for another Celestine Daily Dose. Decide to understand your energy sources. Also understand how your energy is manipulated, or sometimes how your energy is sucked right out of you and you feel depleted. Sometimes you give your energy away, you give and you give and you give because you can see it's being received. Sometimes you give so much that you're depleted. And I've been reading this book, The Celestine Prophecy, and it's incredible. It's the first time I've ever read a book and actually energetically experienced it in my life. The things that I've read, I've actually gone out and seen and experienced, and there's been elements in the book that have actually been implemented in the world around me as I go and experience it. It's hard to kind of relate to you in the most practical way, but it's very interesting. Now, there's quite a few elements in this one part of the book that I kind of want to share with you. So what I'm going to do is just read part of the book just to explain this energy, understanding a little bit more. And I just think it's so powerful. This book, you can go out, get this book. I've already recommended this book. People have bought this book off my recommendations. I literally had someone chat to me, have a conversation with me, see the energy that I was expressing and go, you and this book must be aligned. And they must have known that I would have loved it because I've really been enjoying it. It's been a dream. I've been reading it as a part of my 75 hard challenge. So you read 10 pages every single day of a personal growth book. And this has been so easy to read. After I get through the 10 pages, I want to keep going. So let me just share with you a couple of these pages that I think really spoke volumes to me. Now, this is kind of in the center of the book. So the base premise of the book is that there is this manuscript and there are these insights. So there's 9 insights. James has actually written another book where there's a 10th insight, but there's 9 insights in this book. And the insights, you don't go and just read it and then you know everything about the insight. You actually have to experience the insight in your life to actually really have it be revealed to you. So it's like your path, like your destiny. As you're going out and achieving your path, you need things to be revealed to you. Synchronous moments, your gut feeling, the right choices, the right decision in your life. So this is right at the end of a Matter of Energy chapter. So there's a main character, and the main character is following this other character, Will, who's from the local area, and he is taking him to try and find the ninth insight. And through that 9th insight, they're going to be able to see an elevated, have an elevated experience and understanding, and really find out the answer of what is existence, what's the point of being here, what's the purpose. So as he's following Will around, you don't just go to the north of Peru to get the insight, or the south of Peru. You're driving around and it has to be revealed to you. It's like you're attracting it. Kind of like that thing where you to have a great partner, to attract a great partner, you have to be attractive yourself. So to find the 9th insight, you have to go on the journey and have the other insights experienced and revealed to you. So without further ado, let me crack on. But Will is basically his guide. If you look at the hero's journey, it's kind of his mentor, and he's helping the main character. So here we go. Will shook his head. He really had you hooked. What do you mean? You should have seen your energy field. It was flowing almost totally into his. I don't understand. Think back to Sarah's argument with the scientist at Vincenti. If you had witnessed one of them winning, convincing the other that he was correct, then you would have seen the loser's energy flowing into the winner's, leaving the loser feeling drained and weak and somewhat confused. The way the girl in the Peruvian family appeared, and the way, he smiled, that you look now. You saw that happening to me? I asked. Yes, he replied. And it was extremely difficult for you to stop his control of you and to pull yourself away. I thought for a minute you weren't going to do it. Jesus, I said, that guy must really be evil. Not really, he said. He's probably only half aware of what he's doing. He thinks he's right to control the situation. And no doubt he learned a long time ago that he could control successfully by following a certain strategy. He first pretends to be your friend. Then he finds something wrong with what you're doing. In your case, that you are in danger. In effect, he subtly undermines your confidence in your own path until you begin to identify with him. As soon as that happens, he has you. Will looked directly at me. This is only one of the many strategies people use to con others out of their energy. You'll learn about the remaining ways in the 6th insight. I wasn't listening. My thoughts were on Marjorie. I didn't like leaving her there. Do you think we should try and get Marjorie? I asked. No, not now, he said. I don't think she's in any danger. We can drive out tomorrow as we leave and try to talk to her. We were silent for a few minutes, then Will asked, do you understand what I said about Jensen not realizing what he was doing? He's no different from most people. He just does what makes him feel strongest. No, I don't think I understand. Will looked thoughtful. All this is still unconscious in most people. All we know is that we feel weak, and when we control others, we feel better. What we don't realize is that this sense of feeling better costs the other person. It is their energy that we have stolen. Most people go through their lives in a constant hunt for someone else's energy. He looked at me with a twinkle in his eye. Although, occasionally, it works differently. We meet someone who, at least for a little while, will voluntarily send us their energy. What are you getting at? Think back to when you and Marjorie were eating together at the restaurant in town and I walked in. Okay. I don't know what you two were talking about, but obviously her energy was pouring into you. When I walked in, I could see it clearly. Tell me, how did you feel during that time? I felt good, I said. In fact, the experiences and concepts I was relating seemed crystal clear to me. I could express myself easily, but what does that mean? He smiled. Occasionally, another person will voluntarily want us to define their situation for them, giving us their energy outright, the way Marjorie did with you. It makes us feel empowered, but you'll see that this gift doesn't usually last. Most people, Marjorie included, aren't strong enough to keep giving energy. That's why most relationships eventually turn into power struggles. Humans link up energy and then fight over who is going to control it. And the loser always pays the price. He stopped abruptly and looked at me. Do you get the 4th insight? Think about what has happened to you. You observed that energy flows between people and wondered what it meant. And then we ran into Renal, who told you that psychologists were already searching for some reason humans sought to control each other. All that was demonstrated with the Peruvian family, you saw clearly that dominating another makes the dominator feel powerful and knowledgeable, but it sucks the vital energy out of those who are being dominated. It makes no difference if we tell ourselves that we are doing it for the person's own good, or that they are our children, and therefore we should be in control all the time. The damage still occurs. Next, you ran into Jensen and got a taste of what this actually feels like. You saw that when someone is dominating you psychically, they actually take your mind away. It was not as if you lost some intellectual debate with Jensen. You didn't have the energy or mental clarity to debate with. All your mental power was going to Jensen. Unfortunately, this kind of psychic violence happens all the time throughout human culture, often by otherwise well-meaning people. I just nodded. Will had summarized my experience exactly. Try to integrate the 4th insight fully, Will continued. See how it fits together with what you already know. The 3rd insight showed you that the physical world is actually a vast system of energy. And now the 4th points out that for a long time, we humans have been unconsciously competing for that system of energy. We have been open to the part that flows between people. This is what human conflict has always been about at every level, from all the petty conflicts in families and employment settings to wars between nations. It's the result of feeling insecure and weak and having to steal someone else's energy to feel okay. Wait a minute, I protested. Some wars had to be fought. They were right. Of course, Will replied. But the only reason that any conflict can't be immediately settled is that one side is holding on to an irrational position for energy purposes. Will appeared to remember something, reaching into a satchel. I almost forgot, he said. I found a copy of The Fourth Insight. He handed me the copy and said nothing else, looking straight ahead as he drove. I picked up the small flashlight Will kept on the floorboard and for the next 20 minutes read the short document. Understanding the Fourth Insight, it said, is a matter of seeing the human world as a vast competition for energy and thus for power. Yet, once humans understand their struggle, the insight continued. We would immediately begin to transcend this conflict. We would begin to break free from the competition over mere human energy, because we would finally be able to receive our energy from another source. I looked at Will. What's the other source? I asked. He smiled, but said nothing. The other source is in the next chapter, the message of the mystics. However, that's the little section on energy that I wanted to share. I think it's so relevant in our current time with what's going on in the world, with what has been happening, I guess, throughout history, as he mentions, and more frequently in terms of how humans have always been pitted against each other. Kind of how, we don't look to elders and how they kind of work in synchronicity with the land, not just extracting and depleting. Whatever it is, in whatever world, we don't, extract and deplete people through ideology and beliefs and needing to be right. We can kind of be strong and powerful and resolute in our own energy and investigate and learn in our own life and be okay with the decisions that we made. We don't need to try and go and control everyone else and suck their energy until they're sucked dry and they're, but a figment of what they were. So for me, that's really powerful for this current time, really powerful as people kind of look around and, question the things that they see and kind of try to work out, how we've been living. Has it been right for Mother Earth, the planet, for human beings, for connection, for evolution? Is it right to continually control and more control and more control and more 1984 and Brave New World, or is there a change that's coming? So yeah, I thought that was a good thing to share, and good kind of focus on energy. And let me know in the comments below if you took anything away from that insight. I would highly suggest this book. Incredible. I'm going to be doing some more book reviews in the coming month with a friend of mine, Cherie. We've done some book conversations about the books that we're writing, but we're also going to do some book reviews. I think there's so much wisdom there, so much that we can learn, and it's awesome to just be able to share that knowledge with each other and really, help each other along our journey together. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that one. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos, hit the notification bell if you want to be updated as soon as the next daily dose is out. And guys, remember, as always, decide your destiny. Cheers.